Hello and welcome to Answering the Call with Dedication and Service, a special program interviewing members of the Medicine Hat Fire Service. I'm Jason Labash, an active member of the Fire Service. With me is Curtis Noble, President of the Firefighters Association and has been a member of the Fire Service for 12 years. Today, we'll be talking about the Medicine Hat Firefighters Burn Fund and other charities the firefighters support, the Firefighters Association and PTSD. Curtis, it's great to have you on the program.
Thanks, Jay.
Curtis, I would like to start this interview with you with why you wanted to become a firefighter.
That's the age-old question, isn't it? I think like most guys, it started young. You see the big trucks, you see the guys, they're rushing into the fires. It was pretty exciting at a young age. But as you get older and realize what more of the job is about, helping people, being involved in the community and that kind of kind of drew me more towards it as well. I grew up here, so in junior high school, I had an opportunity to do a ride-along with the Medicine Hat Fire Department. And it was kind of right then and there that I knew that this is something that I wanted to do as a career. So I think with most guys, they from a young age, for me, it was the same.
What is the Firefighters Association and why does it exist?
The Firefighters Association is made up of the members that work at the Medicine Hat Fire Department, and its existence is to ensure the safety of our community, ensure the safety of our members, and be a voice and be a loud voice for those issues in our community and for our members.
Is it for the retired members or active members, and why?
Yeah, the association is made up of the active members, but we work together with retirees as well. We have quarterly coffees where we'll invite the retirees to the fire hall. We have charity events that we'll invite our retirees to, and as well, like just some fun social events and social evenings throughout the year. We have an annual retirees dinner. As well, a lot of the stuff that the association works towards benefits retirees, stuff like cancer legislation and PTSD legislation. So we still work quite hand in hand with our retirees.
So they're gone but not forgotten.
That's correct.
Why and when was the Firefighters Association established?
So the Medicine Hat Firefighters Association is a part of the International Association of Firefighters. And the International Association of Firefighters was established 99 years ago. So we're almost celebrating our 100th year. And it was established back then when there were no restrictions on working conditions or occupational hazards and things of that nature. So it was developed to be a voice for the men that worked on the job at the time. That's to be said as well for Medicine Hat. Medicine Hat joined the International Association of Firefighters in the early 20s, and it was under a lot of the same guises and things as well. Yeah.
How many members make up the Firefighters Association?
Our association is made up of 78 members. So 72 are in what we call the suppression branch, so the people that work on the floor, ride the trucks every day. We have 2 members in training and 4 members in the prevention branch.
That's a lot of guys.
It is.
What charity organizations does the association support?
Well, the association supports a lot of charities within our community. Our big ones that we support annually is muscular dystrophy. So we have a rooftop camp out every year now that we've been going to raise money for muscular dystrophy and one day find a cure for that terrible disease. That's something that firefighters from across North America support. To date, firefighters from across North America have raised over $275 million to try to find a cure for these neuromuscular diseases. Locally, we're getting close to the $300,000 mark for money that we've raised for muscular dystrophy. So that's our big one. We also support our calendar. We'll support the Alberta Children's Hospital. Our last calendar raised close to $35,000. So We put money towards that. And then we have our own burn fund, which is the Firefighters Burn Fund, that deals more on other charities within the community.
Why does the association feel it is important to support these community organizations?
Well, our guys live in this community. A lot of our guys grew up in this community. A lot of our guys live in this community. Their kids go to school here. So, as far as community organizations in volunteering with sports or coaching sports or church groups or community organizations, we have that strong connection to the community, and we want to maintain that connection. And we think that it's important to build strong communities, and that's one way that we can help out.
Do it through your charity work. Good
That's
job.
correct.
Can you please mention a few of the noteworthy milestones for the association?
Milestones, a couple that I've mentioned. The Firefighters, the International Association of Firefighters is almost going to be 100 years old this year. We're the local association is past 75 years and moving forward. We've also had some legislative victories that we've worked towards to help our firefighters in the world of occupational cancers. Unfortunately, a tremendous amount of studies have shown that firefighters have a greater risk of contracting cancer, almost 2 times as much. Certain departments, 68% of their members have developed cancer. So we've made the big efforts with the provincial government in showing that presumptive cancer legislation is important. As well, we had a federal government victory just recently that supports the families of fallen first responders. So if you were to lose your life in the line of duty, the federal government is going to help out your family in the time that they need it with your absence. Another milestone that we had locally was building our firefighter memorial. We partnered with Jim Marshall, a world-renowned sculptor, in building one of the most beautiful tributes to our fallen 9 firefighters that we've had in Medicine Hat. So those are some of the milestones.
Curtis, thank you for your efforts in those successes.
No problem.
The association is actively trying to educate their members about PTSD. What is PTSD, and why is education about PTSD important for our members?
You're right, Jay. We are trying to, excuse me, actively relay information to our members. One of the first things about that is we're trying to change. One of the things that we found is change the title as well. So you use PTSD. That stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. What doctors have been finding that it's not as much of a disorder as it is an injury. So we're moving towards the acronym of PTSI, which stands for post-traumatic stress injury. It's an important that, sorry, what it is exactly is a post-traumatic stress injury. Your body has natural mechanisms with dealing with an injury or a traumatic incident in your life. So when those natural mechanisms are interrupted and your body isn't allowed to go through that process, that's what has the potential to develop a post-traumatic stress injury. So if you imagine it like a linear line and you're going on like this, and then a traumatic incident happens, and then for whatever reason you skip over it, and then you continue and you don't allow your body to recover and recoup for that period, and you keep going, well, this injury hasn't been fixed. So all it is an interruption in your body's natural mechanisms to deal with a traumatic incident, and that's what PTSI is.
Does PTSI just affect old experienced firefighters, or can anyone experience it?
Anyone can experience it, but the reason for that stereotype specifically is I just mentioned about the one specific incident on the linear line. The other way that PTSI can develop is if you can imagine a cup, and you have stressors in your life that fill your cup, and be it your job, your family, your kids, money stressors, and then you start piling on traumatic incidents, and your cup is only so full. So that plays into the older guys thing. That's just another way that you can develop a post-traumatic stress injury, but it's not the only way. So this is an injury that isn't prejudiced to anyone. It could be young, can be old, and anyone is susceptible.
What are the symptoms, and how does someone know if they have PTSI?
So some of the symptoms are outlined pretty clear in one of the programs that we run that the fire service has brought in, called Road to Mental Readiness, and it kind of outlines where you are on this chart, and it gives you: green is you're dealing with stress quite well, everything's going pretty good; yellow, you're starting to feel a little on edge, you're not dealing with your emotions as well, some things might get to you, sleep might be an issue, and then you get into your orange area where it starts to escalate, and then red. So where you start getting into a critical incident where maybe you're developing substance abuse problems, or you're losing your temper, or you're having scary, dark thoughts. Those are some of the broad spectrum of symptoms of this complicated injury.
What does the fire service do when a crew encounters a situation that might involve a traumatic incident at a call?
So the Medicine Hat Fire Service has been extremely proactive in how they handle these kinds of traumatic incidents. We have a peer support team, which is made up of just the members within the department and our fire department chaplain, he is a member of our department. And after each incident that is deemed to be a traumatic incident, which we do see a lot of, they'll take the guys aside after the fact, and we do what's called either a debriefing or a defusing, and you go through what happened and you talk about it and say, hey, how was this incident? And it's just the guys that were on that call, and we kind of hash it out and work together and kind of lay it all out. And then after that, we have the members of the peer support team may choose to do a follow-up. Like, I got a phone call this week because I had 3 traumatic incidents last tour, and they went, hey, Curtis went on this incident, this incident, this incident, maybe somebody should just take him for a coffee. So one of the guys calls me up and says, hey man, let's go for a coffee and talk about it. So we're on top of it. It's different than it used to be, but I think we're moving definitely in the right direction.
Why is it important to seek support when dealing with PTSI?
That's a big question. The cold, blunt answer is because people are dying. Since 2014, close to 200 first responders and military people have taken their own life. That's scary. So getting help is important. Also, the willingness to know that you need help and having the courage to step out and say, hey, I need help. And seeing something in your colleagues. If you see something, say something. Take the guy aside and just say, hey man, do you need someone to talk to? So that's why it's important, because the end of the road is quite dark.
I find that alarming. All those numbers are growing. What support is available for people suffering from PTSI?
Well, within the department, we have our peer support team. Outside of that, one of the first legislative items of the previous provincial government was Bill 1 to say, presumed, if you develop PTSI on the job, it's presumed that it happened on the job. So you can get treatment through workers' compensation right away. Through our union, the International Association of Firefighters, we've built our first of many facilities to come that is designed directly for treatment of this injury for firefighters. It's a place that's comfortable. It's ran by firefighters and medical professionals that our members can go to and get the help that they need, free of cost, and that's some of the things that we're working for our members.
Wow, those are some big steps. Now, in the last few years, there's been a lot of research in PTSI. What are some of the research highlights?
Some of the research highlights are, they might be surprising in the fact that it's not like any other injury when we changed it from PTSD, they use the word disorder, they assume that it would be, you had a certain chance to develop it if, let's say, you came from a certain background, like other illnesses. But what they found was there were no prejudices. It didn't matter if you were black, white, Asian, go through the list, or came from a rich or poor socioeconomic background. It didn't matter. It wasn't there was no prejudice to anyone. It had the same effect. The only precursor that would show that maybe you had an increase of developing a PTSI injury was the feeling that nobody was there to help you. That was the only thing. So coming out of a lot of the research was making that transition from saying, hey, this isn't necessarily a full mental illness issue as much as it is an injury issue. Also, there's a tremendous amount of information. So trying to, from all the research, so trying to compartmentalize and find the best practices has been a step that's been trying to be made.
What are important tips for family and friends of a loved one diagnosed with PTSI?
I think even before the diagnosis, family, friends, employers, colleagues need to realize that these injuries don't come in a nice little box or package. It's very rare that someone will come forward and say, I think I have a PTSI injury, I need help, and what can you do to help me? It's typically coupled with some kind of negative incident. So I guess the advice would be patient, make the realization that just because what this person is doing currently doesn't mean that's who they are. It's coupled with the injury that they're trying to deal with. And once they do get the diagnosis and are getting the help, just support. Support's important. Be with them and let them know that you're going to be with them until this injury heals.
Sounds like it's more of an invisible injury rather than something in your face like a broken bone or an arm or something like that. Where can we find out more information about PTSI?
Like I said before, there's a lot of information out there, but there are some leaders in the field. The University of Regina does incredible work in the field. Organizations like Wounded Warriors, Contour Team at Trust, and the International Association of Firefighters are trying their best to put a lot of the information out there for the public and people to find.
Thank you very much, Curtis. That was wonderful. Now, on the lighter side, what memories or funny stories can you share about Fire Station number 2?
Oh, yeah. Station 2 is great. The old Station 2, it was a great place, and I think probably what I liked about it most was where it was located. It's located right on the edge of a community, on a major kind of road where a lot of people go, and you're living like right behind people's homes and houses, so you're stuck right in a lot of action and a lot of like a hustle and bustle of a little community. So there wasn't too many nights or evenings where you wouldn't have kids running around or coming into the yard or wanting to see the trucks or people walking by and saying hello and having a conversation. So that was probably my favorite part about it, was just being involved in the community and seeing all the people and all that kind of stuff.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. You feel more like a neighbor rather than just an employee of the city, right?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
What have you enjoyed most about being at the Medicine Hat Fire Service?
A lot. I grew up in Medicine Hat, so I've seen the fire department my whole life. I had the opportunity to go to fire school in Vermilion. And after that, I moved to the city of Swift Current, where I was a firefighter for 5 years and had a great time doing it. Then I had an opportunity to move home. And moving home and being a firefighter in the place that I grew up is probably, it felt pretty special. It feels good to serve the people, the community that provided me so much when I was young and coming up. So that's probably it.
I know that feeling of giving something back, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You've taken so much. Do you have any final thoughts or anything you'd like to add?
I'm very happy that they gave the opportunity to speak about the Firefighters Association. I've been working on the association board for 4 or 5 years, and I'm very honored to be a part of it and to be the president of the Firefighters Association now. So I'm just thankful for the opportunity.
Well, Curtis, thank you very much for taking part in this program. To find out more about the history of Medicine Hat Fire Service, check out or look through our history book titled 100 Years of Dedication and Service, available at the Medicine Hat Public Library and the Esplanade Archives. If you have any questions about fire safety, please call 403-529-8282 or go online to www.medicinehat.ca. I hope you enjoyed this program, and thank you for watching.